Do you know what Trump did in the first 2 days that he's been in office as president? Stay tuned. Now I'm going to go through some of these in this first video. We're going to start with Executive Order 14124, which is the White House's initiative on advancing educational equity, excellence, and economic opportunity through Hispanic serving institutions. And the reason why I brought this one up first is because there was a large amount of Hispanic individuals that voted for Trump. And we're seeing that you guys are a target as well. Ain't nobody safe. And I just want everybody to know. And the purpose of this was to advance equity and economic opportunities for folks that are Hispanic that go to Hispanic serving institutions, and to increase opportunities for those institutions to participate and benefit from federal programs and ensure that they can continue to provide economic opportunity and mobility for Hispanic folks. And an HSI is similar to an HBCU, but the difference is this is just an amount of 25% of Hispanics at an institution. And so they get certain benefits from the government to support and uplift their community so that they have more opportunity and access to more opportunity. And so what this is doing is the federal government realized that HSIs face challenges and opportunities to reflect their history in the communities that they serve. And so they're trying to expand the reach and improve how they serve. And so it has allowed for the federal government to collaborate, and it's actually forcing it, to be quite honest, with Hispanic and Latino communities to improve on their long-term success, which is about eliminating barriers and providing federal funding, right? So that they'll identify and promote the availability of federal programs and resources to expand and enhance their educational capacity, to help build infrastructure, which is like the schools and whatnot, development, breaking down barriers to access, and then expanding the pathways for them to access programs and resources. Also, identifying best practices to help them expand, and suggesting sustainable strategies and programmings and initiatives to support the educational success and economic mobility of their students. Build access and equitable pathways to federal career opportunities for the students, faculty, staff, and alum, encouraging the Hispanic serving institutions that provide students with degrees that lead them to upward mobility in economics, and allow them to participate in, it encourages them to participate in the federal policy making process. Now, all of these things are not bad. All of these things are not bad. You are giving these institutions money as they are underserved and probably underfunded to help advance these students, giving them opportunities. And then once they have these opportunities, you ensure that they have the opportunity to be involved in the federal policymaking process. And that's not bad either, because we need diverse perspectives in policy making. If we have a large amount of Hispanic folks that live in the United States of America, why are there not more Hispanic reps? They have a lived experience similar to how we need, other diverse groups, how we need, Indians and Asians and Black Americans. If we are here presently living in the United States in large amounts, there should be representation in policies, because we all live differently. Rescinded an executive order issued by Biden that lowered prescription prices for drugs. As we all know, he lowered and capped insulin prices to $35, which is a feat, because insulin is upwards of $2,000 normally. And so all we're doing is now putting more money back in big pharma's pockets, which they don't need. We, the people, need, because eggs, milk, and all that other stuff is too expensive. Like I said, we need to be worried about the price of the eggs, and now it says that they are projected to rise as much as 20% during his first year in office, despite the claims that he's going to bring it down. And he worried about taking the caps off of the insulin prices and other prescription drugs, not just that one, other ones too. Executive Order 14000, supporting the reopening and continuing operation of schools and early child care education providers. Okay, I understand that people think that COVID is done, but the truth of the matter is that 31 countries, which is 13%, reported COVID-19 deaths. 81 countries, which is 35%, reported COVID related cases, and that was just in the period of November to December of 2024, and that there are over 194 new cases, and that is still a decrease from numbers from, of course, when the pandemic started, but that's just to show that COVID is not over. What this is doing is providing support to, schools and child care facilities, and so technical assistance, because of course we know that everything was online, and helping strategies as far as if there was to be another issue or whatever. But even if they are experiencing issues, they could request government assistance, and the financial disruptions. Guidance for child care providers at Head Start programs about safely reopening. I think the biggest thing for me is that I understand that it's not the peak as what it was, but don't you think that if you have a child, you would want to know that your child is going into a safe and clean environment, and that there are mandates and there are rules that they're supposed to be following, and so that your child is being safe, supported, and clean? And that's also including trauma-informed care, behavioral and mental health support, and then family support when it's appropriate. Proper ventilation, mask, cleaning, testing. These are all things regardless that you would still want, regardless if COVID is at peak numbers or if it just is the possibility. And we all know that we've seen people masked up still. The numbers ebb and flow. So let's not be a little slow about that one. Safe schools and campuses best practices, just to make sure that our higher ed institutions of shared learning spaces are operating safely if there was to be another pandemic or anything. And I'm going to say the same thing. I understand that's not where we're at now, but we should still have these measures in place. I know this one's going to get y'all in a tizzy. It says Executive Order 14002, economic relief related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, once again, I understand we are not in a pandemic no more, but as I just said before, who knows what could happen? And I think half of the reason why y'all voted for Trump was because y'all got them stemmies, right? The section literally says providing relief to individuals, families, and small businesses. And so it's revoking that, y'all. Good luck, okay? Because it says right here, it says to improve coordination among programs funded in whole or in part by the federal government. And so that's just ensuring that things are running smoothly and that there's coordination, but also supporting and providing relief to individuals and families. Executive Order 14006, reforming our incarceration system to eliminate the use of privately operated criminal detention facilities. And so that is just the prison, okay? So this is Biden had something to eliminate the use of privately owned and operated prisons, okay? So we have more than 2 million folks currently incarcerated in the United States. And this part is really telling. It says that there is a mass incarceration, which of course we know has significant costs and hardships on the communities and our society, and it does not make us feel safer. But it says to decrease incarceration levels, we must reduce the profit-based incentives to incarcerate by phasing out federal government reliance on privately operated criminal detention facilities. Because the privately owned prisons is all about that money. You get money for each person that you have in there. And so they're incentivized, because of the money that they're getting per bed, to put more people in the jails. Where some people get lost is that they forget that rehabilitation and redemption is what prison is supposed to be about. It's not supposed to be about locking somebody up and throw away the key and not trying to give them the resources, the programs, and the services to better themselves. And so what this is saying is that privately operated criminal detention facilities consistently underperform federal facilities with respect to the programs, the services, and the resources that they provide in preparing people for the next chapter of their lives. And so the federal government sees that it's a responsibility of them to ensure the safe and humane treatment of those that are in the federal criminal justice system, where when it's these privately owned prisons, y'all, they can do whatever because who's regulating them, okay? But then also when you think about it, when people come back out into society, even if they were in a privately owned institution or facility, then they're not coming out having gone through these different treatments, whether that be mental health or just like job placement or, getting their GED. And then they're coming back out ready to reoffend because they weren't set up properly. And so it's a continuous cycle. And then they end right back up into the privately owned prison. And the prison people are making money. That's not benefiting nobody but the pockets of the person that owns the prison. It said contracts of privately operated criminal detention centers would not be renewed. And so this took it away. And so now they can just keep using privately owned facilities. This is just part one. Stay tuned. I am the elephant in the room.